So I want to talk about women in the sex industry because on one hand, they are sitting on your husband's laps, they are in the bathroom with your husband on his phone or wherever he is, you know, they are popping up on his YouTube, they are popping up on his Instagram. He might be a hubby subby, he might be a regular porn user that has a favourite whoever that he's seeing all these intimate moments with and pretending that that's him inside of her and all that sort of stuff. Or looking at it getting rushed and being like, oh wow. And then and getting a whole heap of unrealistic expectations about how much effort versus reward is expected with women. It's any wonder that back in the day men used to court women and used to do flowers and romance and all that, and now they just think that like paying for your meal is like above and beyond. Like, you can just send $5 to the subby hubby girl and she's doing like private conversations and building an emotional connection with you, and she's getting her boobies out like just for $5. So like, why are you so high maintenance out in the because she's out in the real world, that's why, sir. And all that crap on your phone that's teaching your brain the opposite of how to have a healthy relationship. Anyway, but yes, talking about women in the sex industry, because in one way it's predatory, right? Man walks into a strip club, that woman ain't wanting to love him, that woman ain't, she's probably been abused or molested or was about to be homeless or something, and then he walks in and he is an ATM, a cash card. So there might be flirting, there might be like, whatever to get him to empty his wallet, right? That's his purpose for her. And I don't know whether, that's just how it is. And then at the same time, she's also a victim of, cost of living, capitalism, all this sort of stuff. She's also probably been down a really dark path to get there. I'm not saying every single sex worker has been, but it's not something she was dreaming about as a little girl. It's certainly not something she wants to tell her family about, blah 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 blah, right? And as for the women on the internet, like, they're not going to have an intimate relationship with someone while they're putting themselves out there like that, or at least it's unlikely. But there's such a male demand for it, why wouldn't they? Especially with how expensive everything is, right? If you've got, say, I don't know, 100 subby hubbies, you might be making more in one day than other people. Sure, you're both destroying yourselves, that woman and those men, but it's profitable, so she's not homeless. You know what I'm saying? So it's simultaneously being a victim and predatory at the same time, in a way. Potentially. Maybe I need to think more about this, but... And then you have women in porn that are obviously paying and have a contract to essentially have their vessels used and degraded and abused, and men have fried themselves to the point where they find it erotic seeing another human being in essentially agony and pain, and they become sick, twisted individuals. And do I think that woman would be in that position if she didn't have money issues or whatever? No. Do I think that her being in that sort of industry is setting her up for the rest of her life? Absolutely not. Do I think that the men paying or watching this stuff care about that woman? Hell no. Again, male validation is the most worthless currency in the world. But men will pour it out to a woman that they don't really respect. Because it's twisted. That's not how a healthy relationship should work. You should be pouring into the person that loves and cares about you, and you share something intimate together. But unfortunately, that is not how society is training men. And unfortunately, it is training men to look at women like a resource, like an object, something to be used, not something to be cherished and loved and desired and cared for, and to learn all the ways to make her body actually feel pleasure rather than pain. So yeah, we live in a very inverted society,